Hey y'all, this is the Beyond the Dojo podcast. I'm Lauren.
I'm Jeremiah.
And usually we try to start off with something funny.
Yeah.
But as we were getting ready to come here this morning to film a couple of episodes, I saw a post from someone that I don't know, but they tagged our friend Peter.
Yeah.
Who was, I couldn't remember where we met Peter. Okay, so back when we were at my old dojo that I grew up in, we had this guy reach out. He called and he wanted to come and train in the dojo, and I let him come in. And at that time I was like super nervous of teaching other black belts because I was so used to teaching like kids and Q ranks. I didn't know how I was going to be taken. And then I also like had this complex about being female and teaching men. But dude, he was like down for it.
Yeah. Peter's spirit is probably the most infectious thing to have. Like, he was about training. Yeah. Training hard.
And he's like, shut up, stop talking, and train.
Yeah. He was the epitome of that, right?
Yeah.
But the crazy thing is, like, the moment he got off the floor, you couldn't shut him up.
Oh, I know.
He would just talk, and it was never about himself.
Yeah.
It was always about like the people around him. Like, the thing I took from him from a dojo head standpoint that will always be giving credit to him was this. He knew how to create a sense of communing and belonging for the people that weren't on the floor.
Yes. He was so great.
He was so good about just like making everybody feel like they were a major part of this. And then when he trained with them, it was 10 times more because of the way he trained.
Yeah.
Man,
he went hard on everybody.
He's not a famous teacher. He's not someone who had all these accolades. He wasn't this guy put on a pedestal, but he was so invaluable invaluable to us and our development as dojo heads and as karateka. Like,
he trained in the
KUGB under Inoue or under Terry O'Neill.
Right.
And then he lived in LA for a while and trained out there. And then he was kind of a nomad. Like, this guy was like, we knew him for almost 2 years before he told us he was an like expert level rock climber.
Dude, and he had the forearms and the hands to prove it.
Like back in the 70s and 80s when like people would die.
Yeah.
You know, he was like that guy. And he said majority of his adult life, he would just travel to certain areas to climb the mountains in that area.
I think that's why he came to the U.S.
That's why he came.
Because he was coming to climb stuff.
Yeah. And you didn't know it about him because he was such a person that lived in the moment.
Yeah.
And was charismatic in such a loving and positive way.
When we moved into our house, or we were getting ready to move into our house before we got married, he was climbing, like free climbing our trees.
Cutting branches down for us.
The dude is like in his late 60s, early 70s, climbing trees, cutting off limbs so they don't fall on our house.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude was like built, and he did manual labor for a living, and it was wild. Jeremiah worked with him actually for a couple years.
For a couple of years. I mean,
doing landscape stuff.
Yeah, good man. Good person, good karateka. I mean, to me, he lived that idea of like a budoka, right? He was a martial artist, and he held himself to that degree. He held his expectation. If he expected something from you, he had the same expectations for himself.
Yeah.
And but again, he was critical too.
Yes.
Because if you showed up and you were slacking or you didn't really give much effort,
he would be like,
he would roll his eyes, and the disdain on his face,
make fun of you,
was like mercilessly. He would just look at you. Like,
it was awesome.
Oh, it was great because he didn't do it in such a way you wanted to fight him.
Right.
It made you like go, oh, I'm not training hard enough.
Yeah. It was like slightly funny, but also like,
well, he's an Englishman, right?
Yeah.
So he has that like natural ability to be a jerk.
Yeah, like dry humor kind of. Yeah. And he would spinning back kick anyone.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Anyone, anywhere.
Anytime we were sparring, if you were there, he didn't care what your rank is, you're getting a spinning back kick.
He would get you for sure.
Yes. I was running across the room to get away from him because he's so tall. He was like
so
over
long
6
and tall.
feet tall.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. He's nuts. And he's like quintessential KUGB, like very
square,
square
yeah.
stances, like how his knees survived. I have no idea.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah, we lost a good one.
Yeah, we saw a post this morning from one of his students, and they just said, they're just doing what they know what to do.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's very sad. But he was a great guy. He was.
Yeah.
I think he was probably in his mid.
Gosh, he had to be his late 70s, early 80s.
I think he was like mid 70s by now.
Okay.
It hasn't been as many years because it was like we had this crazy adventure taking. Well, I guess it wasn't him because he moved up to Missouri, but he had already moved up to Missouri when we took that trip to Virginia, West Virginia.
Oh my goodness, yeah, he wasn't there.
No, he wasn't in that part, but
that was we were helping a friend of his, and if it wasn't for Peter, we would never met this guy.
Yeah, so maybe it would have been better.
Good Lord.
Anyway, but
hey,
R.I.P. Peter.
Huh?
Peter. R.I.P. Peter.
R.I.P. man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right.
That sucked.
All right, we should just go ahead and turn the cameras off now because there's nothing really else to talk about. What do you follow? How do you follow that up? How do you follow that up? Like this guy, lit up the room.
Yeah.
Even his memory has lit up the room, and now it's like, okay, it's almost a letdown.
Jeremiah wanted to use this episode to kind of talk about our experience so far with the HDKI. Surprise! We're just doing an episode on it. So what do you want to share first?
So at first we were pretty apprehensive.
Always.
I think is a good word.
Always.
Apprehensive to like organizations and how things are working. We got burned a couple times. It, really didn't see a lot of value into
Go back and listen to our previous episodes and listen to us talk crap about karate organizations.
Yeah. And, I got to say this, man. So far, the HDKI is true to what they said they're trying to do. And that is just to have karate adventures with each other, being accepting, giving opportunities for people who want to teach or want to travel and do karate and all these things. And I got to give it to them. They're true to their word.
Well, what are some things we've done since we joined? You want to go over that first?
Well, we've trained with Scott Langley in Montevallo. We trained with Guy Badur in Montevallo.
That was even before, yeah.
We went out to San Diego and trained with Steve twice.
Yeah, we did it. They did a HDKI-USA
summer camp. He gave me the opportunity to do the Kangekko last year, and I'm doing it again this year. Mm-hmm. I got several of the instructors at the HDKI-USA got to teach at the HDKI-USA winter camp.
Right.
So it's like, if you don't have those aspirations to teach outside your dojo, then there's so many other things. The community itself is so welcoming and so, I don't know, down to earth.
Yeah.
In a sense, there's not a lot of ego. There's not a lot of this like I'm a sixth thong. You must, kiss my feet as I walk by or bow lowly. It's not that at all. Mm-hmm. It's pretty just chill. Yeah. And I like that. I feel comfortable that way. Yeah.
I like that some modern organizations, HDKI included, are less of like, oh, since you've joined us now, we're going to immediately make you conform to the way we do karate.
Right.
I think I've told this story before. Literally I think it was like the afternoon or the day after I tested for Sandan in a different organization. I had to do Jion on my Sandan exam. One of the big instructors, one of the key players in this organization came up to me and said, okay, well, now that you have passed, you need to change this, this, and this, and this in your Jion to match what we do in our organization. And I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah. You guys just gave me a stamp of approval for Sandan doing it the way that I was doing it. Why do I have to change? You don't experience that kind of thing with the HDKI at all.
No, you don't.
Not for the sake of adherence to an organizational style.
Right. And I like the fact, like when we did our Yondan, I did Nijishio slightly different.
Right.
And they just asked me why.
Right.
I gave them my reasoning behind it. And even though I don't think they agreed, they saw the validity in the answer.
Right.
And since they saw there's a valid answer, they accepted it.
Right.
So I thought that was like, to me, that's open-minded leadership. it's going to trickle down to everybody else. To where it's like if it makes sense and that's the way you do it, as long as it's within the stylistic content of Shotokan, I think they're okay with it.
Right. And I will argue with you until I die. And on my Yondan exam, it was a little bit of arguing back and forth about how I chose to do part of my kata, and I was able to stand my ground and not, fail.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a matter of like,
I think
it's just being able to support my argument.
Yeah, but I also would say that I was more assertive in my answers, and you were more defensive in the presentation.
Well, that's just the way I communicate.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I think that's why they came across. Plus, the person you're arguing most with likes to argue too.
Sure.
So.
Yeah.
That's part of it, right? I'm not to say they're we all have flaws.
Yeah.
But that's how I saw that. But anyways, let's go past that. The cool thing, if you're interested in trying to teach beyond your own dojo, they give you the opportunity to. And they give you what was cool, like, so at winter camp, there was several like higher ranked, more experienced karateka there. And after I taught my session, they came over and said, hey, I don't agree with some of the things you said, but I thought these things were really good. And they would actually coach me up on like how I did those things or how I was teaching. And I thought just the fact that they did that is a good thing. Right. It's not like they're holding a secret and you have to
sniveling behind your back.
Behind your back. It was just straightforward, very honest. It wasn't in front of everybody. It was a one-on-one conversation, but that to me meant a lot.
Right.
I could disagree with how people do things, but as long as we could have that open dialogue about how they saw it and what they saw was valuable and what they didn't, and then it wasn't like, that's what I saw, so adhere to what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. It was like, I'm sharing you what I saw. Mm-hmm. And you do as you please with it.
Right.
And that to me was pretty cool.
Right.
So it was like, those things to me are, I'm falling. It's like having a girlfriend, right? You're in an organization and you have a girlfriend, and now I'm like, is this going to be serious?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Serious?
Like, I'm not saying have it literally. Good Lord. See, like anything I say, I got to be defensive because, but it's that feeling like you're in a relationship and then it becomes like, is this going to be a serious relationship? Can I see myself doing this in this organization for a long time? And I honestly feel like I can't.
So you're telling me that the HDKI is your girlfriend now?
She's my side. And so that's pretty cool to me. Because most organizations, I felt like I was a peon and only was really worth anything when they wanted something from me.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I didn't have any kind of like dialogue with them. I didn't have any kind of relationship building experiences. It was very, how can I?
Well,
very dry, very one-sided.
Yeah.
They saw me as a certain thing, and that was it.
Yeah.
So.
And every country, because like the HDKI is split up by country, so it might be different per country. This is just kind of our experience so far with HDKI-USA, which is pretty small. But like, I remember in one of the last organization that we were part of, like one of the things that set me off was, I had some ideas for trying to get like kinesiology information in the hands of some of the head instructors of that organization. And one of the higher ups basically came to me and said that they wanted to partner with me in it. But I knew exactly what that meant. They meant that they wanted me to do all of it. Like I was going to have to like do the whole thing. So like get it started and then they would just drop it and move on to something else. And I would be left with it in my hands. And I don't really feel like HDKI does that kind of thing. Like anytime you're part of an organization and then they have too many fires burning, like that's a bad thing. You don't want nothing going on, but you don't want to have so many fires burning that you can't bring like quality classes, instruction, experience essentially overall. So I think that's
the diversity on the international level is pretty interesting. Like, the UK tends to do a lot more competition stuff. They're a little bit
That's what
more
it seems like.
competition
Yeah.
oriented.
Yeah.
The U.S. is just, we're still kind of
Getting
finding
our
our
footing.
way, you know.
Yeah.
And it's okay. They all
Mhm.
get along, you know. It's, to me, that's pretty awesome. The second thing I like about it on an international level is that you see a lot of like younger karateka having the opportunity to get out and share their perspective and their wealth of knowledge,
Mhm.
and that's pretty cool. Because
Yeah.
if you go to the larger groups, you're going to be in your, you know, your 50s or 60s before they try to, you know, you got to wait your turn, you know.
Right.
And I just feel like that's wasted. It's like, you know, you
And
want to have these guys at their prime, not
right.
on the downfall.
And when we had spoken with Langley Sensei about the organization, like he made it really clear, like this is not meant to be a like I'm the head and everybody just does what I say and
Right.
everybody worships me. Wasn't supposed to be that way. The point was to kind of spread things out to where everybody kind of has an opportunity, everybody contributes a little bit. You know, every country is kind of in charge of their own thing, and so
Yeah.
he doesn't have to necessarily be involved. They're able
Right.
to kind of function on their own. He's just helping facilitate and using his ideas for what an organizational structure should look like, as opposed to everything basically looking exactly like the
Right.
JKA, which everybody's learned off from. That
Yeah,
was the
everybody
big thing
doesn't
he
want to be
said.
the JK, but then
And
they
then they
create
just
their organization based on the JK
and
model.
just do it again.
It
Yeah.
does it over
And
again.
then
You
just
know,
everybody leaves again.
what's the definition of insanity?
Yeah, you just do the same thing over
Doing
and
the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. The cool thing, like you said, is like I got the opportunity to be part of the HDKI-USA executive committee, which is basically like a board where we kind of help point the direction of where our group is going.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, recently we just appointed or voted in a technical director, and it was kind of interesting because I had questions that I felt in the back of my mind, I felt like could be taken as like accusatory or, you know, challenging to the candidate. And just straight up, we had this open dialogue, and it was like, you know, these things concern me, and I just want to make sure that in the long run the group is in a safe place. And he agreed completely. It's like, yeah, no, that's how I want it to. And he goes, after thinking about it, you're right on. We should have these things in place for the future of the group.
Right.
Done.
Right.
Done. I'm like, okay, cool. We present it to the rest of the dojo heads for a vote. One of the dojo heads has a problem, asks these same questions, and then instead of us being like, this is just the way it is that it was cool to see the executive committee kind of go back and try to answer the man's questions and try to let him know that we're trying to do our best and who we picked and why we picked the person for the technical director. And you know,
Regardless of their personal
even
beef.
if it didn't work out perfectly,
Mhm.
it was a better experience than I've ever seen any other organization go through. Right?
Yeah.
It was cool to see that aspect.
It's also moved a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Like it was like probably like a 1 week process
Right.
versus if there had been issues in other organizations, God only knows how long that would have taken.
Right. So you'd have to go, you know, and it's part of it's because we're still a small group, but also part of it was because it was like there was no one had a tiff. No one got upset or offended. No one had that thing. They just kind of put their information out there and then answered as best they could. And that felt good. You know, you could tell the emotions rise a little bit here and there, but that's to be expected. You know what I mean? There wasn't this all fallout brawl or, you know, silly little high school games where you call each other names and talking about you and this and that. It was on the topic. We answered it best we could, and then we moved on.
Well, and I think as a whole, it seems like a lot of the decisions that have been made, you know, we've been part of the organization now for like a year and a half or something, I think. Or no, actually, it's been almost 2 years because we joined 6 months before our Yondan exam. And a lot of the decisions that have been made, you know, by HDKI-USA, it's all in it's trying to provide the best opportunities or make the best decision for the whole, which is, you know, the point of the organization. Right. So it's not really to benefit just one person or one group or whatever. Yeah. It's like, okay, everyone has trouble getting around, so let's maybe try to do some Zoom classes and just like experiment, see how that works. Or hey, let's put the winter camp in this location because it seems like the majority of people will be able to access it from here. Right. And you know, just different things like that.
Absolutely.
So I do think that they are trying to think of how can we benefit everybody as much as possible, as much as they're willing to participate.
Absolutely. I'm deliberately leaving names out because I want people to see that it's the structure
Yeah.
and the process of the organization that's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Now, the people I've had a pleasure to work with and to nominate and vote for, they're pretty cool too, but it's nowhere near as cool as the structure and the organizational layout. I think that is the coolest thing I've ever experienced.
Well, and I don't
up
know,
to this point.
and I don't know, to be honest with you, a lot of the actual like political structure of a lot of organizations, other than like you just see a head instructor, and then you see a couple of other people
And
who
that's
were
it.
appointed, or whatever, maybe they were voted in, and that's pretty much who makes the decisions, is like the head instructor. Versus in HDKI, I guess in most cases, you probably have the executive committee, and that group of people are the ones making the decisions.
The executive committee is right now is being appointed.
Right.
We're in the works of creating a term limit and being voted in, along with the technical director. We're in the process of establishing a term limit and being voted in and all kinds of different things to protect the group. But in general, after the executive committee, everything that's major that happens in the group is put to the dojo heads.
Yeah.
And they vote it yes or no.
And so we all pretty much have say.
We're literally, the executive committee is a filter. It's not the final say.
So it is very democratic in nature, where there's lots of, like, there's that republic-ish kind of flair there where you appoint people, but essentially the decisions are really coming from.
Yeah. So I just wanted to share that today. And I'm pretty sure I'd like to do this maybe ever so often, just kind of like hit the topic, say this is what's going on and kind of what we're doing and the experience we have. Because even if any of the listeners, I'm not doing this to like pimp HDKI out and say this is the best thing, come join us. I'm not doing that. That's not my intention. If you'd like to join us, you're more than welcome to.
Just kidding.
But the idea is to share my experience as a dojo head in an organization and to compare to help mold an idea of like your decision in the future. If you feel like you need to leave the organization you're part of now and you're finding a new one, or you've never been part of an organization and you're trying to look to be part of a group, those things I just want to share what we experience, right? Because I grew up in JKA. I was part of the AJKA. I was part of the WTKO. And a lot of those have the same kind of structure and mentality with different selling points. But this is the first one that's kind of breaking that mold. Yeah. And I was scared to join it because
we held back.
Here's the thing. This is what kept me from joining right away. What you say and what you do are two different things. Mm-hmm. And I needed to see the organization do what they say before I joined.
Yep.
And when I saw that, I was ready to join.
Yep.
And we're still here happy.
Yep.
So that's all I wanted to do today.
This is one of the longest. I think this might be the longest time. I haven't been in many organizations for very long. Many things have happened very quickly. Yeah. But anyway, I'm just trying to think, is this the longest I've been in an organization? I'm not sure.
Yeah. We're still part of the, here's the other thing. Sunday Morning Keiko, we're part of that group. We're active members in that group, and that was never an issue of being a part of a different group. They never brought it up. They never questioned our desires or reasons why we were part of that group. Mm-hmm. And never they ever thought to say, well, you can't be part of that group.
And there are actually multiple people in the organization that
are part of multiple organizations. Yeah. And that's not a problem.
You don't have to retest.
You don't have to do all this political stuff. It's they welcome you as who you are, and then from that point on, they move forward.
Yeah.
So awesome group. Good job, Scott Langley. You did a damn good job, man. Thank you.
Yeah. I guess we're not going to share what we're working on because we did that just a couple minutes ago in the episode that we just filmed. So I hope that you're working on something and making it better. Don't be a punk, okay? Or is that it?
Bye.
Bye.